Hello, this is Tom Blomain, and this is Graffiti. We are here at the historic iron furnaces in downtown Scranton to read some poems about the great iron city of Pittsburgh. These poems are from the recently published anthology from Penn State University Press entitled Commonwealth. There are many parallel similarities and connections between Scranton and Pittsburgh, as some of these exceptional poems demonstrate. Thanks for joining us on our brief poetic trip. Hope you enjoy it. This is a poem called Hometown by W.D. Snodgrass. I go out like a ghost, nights, to walk the streets I walked 15 years younger, seeking my old defeats, devoured by the old hunger. I had supposed this longing and upheaval had left me with my youth. 15 years gone, once more the old lies are the truth. I must prove I dare, and the world and love is evil. I have had loves, had such honors as freely came. It does not seem to matter. Boys swagger just the same along the curbs, or mutter among themselves and watch. They're out for the same prize. And as the evening grows, the young girls take the street, hard in harlequin clothes, with black shells on their feet and challenge in their eyes. Like a young bitch in her season, she walked the carnival tonight, trailed by boys, then stopped at a penny stall for me. By glittering toys, the pitchman called the reason to come and take a chance, try my hand, my skill. I could not look. Bereft of breath against my will, I walked ahead and left her there without one glance. Pale soul, consumed by fear of the living world you haunt, have you learned what habits lead you to hunt what you don't want? Learned who does not need you. Learned you are no one here. That's the poem Hometown by W.D. Snodgrass. This is a poem called Gray by Maggie Anderson. Driving through the Monongahela Valley in winter is like driving through the gray matter of someone not too bright but conscientious, a hard-working undergraduate who barely passes. Everybody knows how hard he tries. I'm driving up into gray mountains, and there it may be snowing gray little flecks like pigeon feathers, or what used to sift down onto the now abandoned slag piles, like what seems to sift across the faces of the jobless in the gray afternoons. At Johnstown I stop, look down the straight line of the incline closed for repairs, to the gray heart of the steel mills with for sale signs on them. Behind me is the last street of disease-free Dutch elms in America. Below me, a city rebuilt 3 times after flood. Gray is a lesson in the poise of affliction. Disaster by disaster, we learn insouciance, begin to wear colors bright as the red and yellow sashes on elephants, whose gray hides cover, like this sky, an enormity none of us can fathom, though we try. That's the poem Gray by Maggie Anderson. This is a poem by Toy Derricott called Mysteries of Pittsburgh. What is the mystery in this restaurant's mystery sandwich on a Saturday afternoon on a nearly spring day? Forsythia's long yellow laying over on its side, combing the sunshine until the closed umbrella buds pop. What is the mystery that opens the way for you to turn right or left out of any driveway and end up always at the place you were heading? The roof you once wanted to leap from is now a patch of land, a roof garden that some woman, inch by inch, sneaked up in her purse. That's Toy Derricott's poem, Mysteries of Pittsburgh. This poem is by Kristen Kovacek, called Leaving Pittsburgh. There's no way to do it honestly. Leave this landscape like a mother's lap. Her green thighs take you down daily into the city. You are trembling with your deception, how to say it. Pittsburgh is limbo, our friend is fond of confessing. The sky, a perpetual gray, suggesting neither light nor dark, but object, a ceiling you could dangle a bulb from in the room of your earliest memory. It's still here, that room. Though other people circle the carpet and sleep in the bed, it is here holding you. Here we hold. Here we stay on. One car counterbalances the other. On the funicular railway of Pittsburgh, a hypnotic loop of faith, neither coming nor going, like my grandparents driving to the airport evenings. He to watch the takeoffs and the landings, she to witness the perpetual embrace of departure and arrival. When you leave, they will come. Every feeling you ever trusted will come, confident of your return to the gray city that is your mother, that is your heart between beatings, that is our time on earth together. That's the poem Leaving Pittsburgh by Kristen Kovacek. This is a poem called One of Many Bars in Ford City, Pennsylvania, by Peter Oresic. Some call this home because they go to Pittsburgh and leave Pittsburgh, saying Pittsburgh makes them nervous. It is the speed of the line today for Kajowski, Valasek, and Dietz, gulping beer like air. For the melancholic 3 stools down, it is leaky gutters and the grim acceptance of a fast line next shift. It is no guarantee of a line next year. It's home because Walensovich had a heart attack a week ago Tuesday, and the man working down from you now you've hated since high school. For God's sake, let's sit on these stools and tell sad stories of the deaths of common men. That's Peter Oresic's poem, One of Many Bars in Ford City, Pennsylvania. Ford City is right near Pittsburgh. This poem is called My Grandfather's Cronies by Deidre O'Connor. I remember them vaguely. Anthony Canavan, Coleman Connolly, Dudley Malloy. Old men would meet by chance at the bus stop downtown, their noses purpled from age, hands pocketed in their overcoats. Sometimes one pressed $1 in my mitten and my grandfather handed it back, the giver rolling his blue eyes to heaven and asking how $1 would hurt me. They chuckled when my grandfather gave in, then fell silent. shy as if they remembered a dollar meant nothing to kids like me, and how when they first arrived in Pittsburgh they saw gold in the sooty smear of dawn, how their mothers' hands trembled, perhaps over the tea things that last day in Galway, and how they wrote, sent money, made do with chipped dishes bought from the Penn Hotel, put a portrait of Kennedy above the TV, how their lives at home were forgotten by all but a few relations and each other. Retired hod carriers, bricklayers, steel workers, stomping their feet on a cold corner of the new world, spare change jingling in their pockets like stories. That's Deirdre O'Connor's poem, My Grandfather's Cronies. This is called Pittsburgh Poem by Jan Beatty. On Sarah Street on the south side, the old woman still stands with her broom, imagining the air full of lug and swish from the steelworker's boot. Armies of gray lunch buckets grace her thoughts as she sweeps with the part of her that still believes. Sweeps while her sister makes pasca and horseradish with red beets, sweeps away the stains of a dead husband and a disappointing daughter. She thinks of the dark well of J and L, how it sifted down to nothing, the mill's hole of a mouth that ate full years of her life. Nights she pulled her husband from Yarsky's bar across the street, him smiling like a bag full of dimes, half a paycheck spent, the whole time soot covering their clothes, the car, the windowsills like disease, someone else's hands. She holds tight onto the good times, the new green velour couch, Saturday walks to the market house for fresh red cabbage and greens, trips to the brown and green store for new t-shirts, south side windows brimming to feta and satin on the way to Mass at St. Michael's, when the world was gleaming and available for one glorious day. Now shadows angle across her print house dress, and she holds tight to her broom. Hears her sister primping in the kitchen, smells the pea soup with sauerkraut, the homemade mushroom gravy for pierogies. She thinks of the 10 years since her husband died, of her daughter who calls on holidays. She stands on her concrete lawn, taking care of something invisible, the listless air, her life. That's Pittsburgh Poem by Jan Beatty. This is a poem called Desire by Lynn Emanuel. This is not Turner's Venice. Not all the light is let loose across the canals, the low clefts of little waves. This is Pittsburgh, where the air is sulphurous and the water landlocked, slowed by waste and those small iron bridges. But even here we have discovered desire, like Columbus, who was looking for the end of the world and stumbled on continents. Night, on the lawn, supple constellations of light. We are sitting in the yard, and I, too, am hoping for the end of something, or the world, maybe, that great, still, perfect lip, and those little boats going off. I am hoping that tonight is movement we have only mistaken for stillness. But it is August, and this is Pittsburgh, the most familiar place in the world. Calm water, boats, channels, and beautiful, too, those little bridges leading back and forth across the river. Here in our own backyard we can find the rare acres of stars, the thin wind abating in the huge green hesitations of the trees. That's Lynn Emanuel's poem, Desire. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Graffiti. We've been reading poems from the anthology Commonwealth, focusing on poems from the Pittsburgh area, here at the historic iron furnaces in downtown Scranton. Hope you join us again for our next edition of Graffiti. Thanks for watching. I'm Tom Blomane. See ya.